we're gonna walk this dog here until it walks politely on the leash, and I'm gonna show you how, if you'll just model the behavior you wanna see, and you will use fatigue to your advantage, then the dog's gonna end up walking on the leash anyway. It's just a matter of, are you walking it far enough to let the dog settle down and realize that it would like to walk with slack in the leash because it's more comfortable for the dog, it's more comfortable for you, and it always leads to off-leash freedom, okay? So, easy, very nice. So I'm gonna be walking this dog, and you see, like right there, she comes off this table and she heads right over there towards the cameraman because she likes the cameraman, okay? Now, in a traditional system, I could correct this dog for making that mistake, and I'm not telling you not to do that, but that's not what we're doing right now, so we're just gonna keep walking the dog. So when this dog makes a mistake, I'm just gonna keep my head up, I'm gonna keep my eyes out, okay? I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm gonna look to put the dog into positions where it can be successful doing what I want it to do, right? Like see right there, it didn't wanna put its paws up on that block. That's perfectly understandable. The dog's not been here that long. It's not 100% sure what to expect. I didn't need to be mad at it and pull it or jerk it or anything like that because I'm a firm believer that if I put this dog in a position to win enough times, then winning will become a habit. Right? Head up, eyes out, talking to you guys because I need dogs to be obedient when I'm busy. Man, appreciate that, right? Okay, easy, give the dog plenty of information about where we're going with this right hand. Use the left hand just to kind of gently direct the dog, up, up, up. One of the things that I'm working on right here is making sure that this dog understands that she should focus even with the other dog around. So now, this can be a very confusing point when it comes to doing positive reinforcement training. That dog did not negotiate this obstacle the way I would like for it to negotiate the obstacle, but I still clicked and treated right here. Why? Because I'm rewarding effort more than performance in the beginning stages. So I didn't get exactly what I wanted. So watch, I'm just gonna come down here and I'm gonna restart, and I'm gonna do a little bit better job of managing the dog in such a way that it's successful. Watch. So I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna give it a little less slack, and I'm gonna guide it right over the log. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. That dog did not miss that log or not do that obstacle correctly, from my perspective, to ruin my day. It's just like taking the path of least resistance, and I'm trying to teach the dogs that the path of least resistance is not always or even usually the best approach to dealing with life. Come on, come on. Let's go. Very nice. Up, up, up. Very nice. Easy on the way down. Up. Easy. Now, notice the difference between how this dog is climbing on the obstacles and how the other one was. Wait, this dog has been here not quite as long, and we just restained all this wood. So this wood is all a little bit more slippery than it was 3 days ago. And so the dogs, they're used to a certain traction differential, you know, as they leave the concrete and get on the boards, and all of a sudden that traction differential is much greater. And so where they used to be able to have a certain amount of momentum and jump up onto the stained wood, and their paws would get traction to stop them, now it's different. And it'll take them a couple of days to acclimate to that. Now during that acclimation phase, I'm going to have to accept the fact that the performance will degrade a little bit, you know, because effectively, simply by restaining the obstacles, I made the obstacles more difficult. Hup, hup. Good. Now I'm going to click right here, let the dog know that there's a check going to be waiting for it at the end of the tunnel. Then I'm going to click right here to let the dog know that I'd like for it to stop in the middle of the ramp. Again, not that this young dog needs a ramp, but I'm teaching a young dog about ramps because it will need to know when it's an old dog. Easy. Very nice. Good dog. Rubble pow. Up, up. Now you'll notice that when I'm letting you work with these different dogs, I usually have you skip the rubble pile. Rubble pile, you know, you got to be a little bit more on point with how you're helping the dog pick its line and your reinforcement points. So as a handler, it's very important for you to objectively evaluate your own handling skill, you know. Don't put yourself in a position to fail if you can keep from it, and don't put your dog in a position to fail. We want to make the dog training sessions challenging so that each session is a little more challenging than the last, but not so challenging that we consistently induce failure. Does that make sense? All right, So this next time around, the dog will be a little bit more successful because I've kind of primed the pump, as we say. We're big on priming the pump. We come out, we get some reps in, remind the dog what we're doing, then we put leashes in other hands, okay? So I'm gonna put a novice dog with a novice handler, and I'm gonna let you guys work this out. And what's important about this is I want the dog to understand that it has a certain amount of responsibility in understanding what is expected of it. Not everybody in the world is going to cater to it. Not everybody in the world is going to baby it. Not everybody in the world is going to be a perfect provider of information. So we're teaching the dog to work with novice handlers because most people in the world are novice handlers. And we're teaching novice handlers to work with dogs to turn them into not novice handlers anymore. Very good, very good. And then easy off the table. Now you know you might have a little trouble with that log over there, okay? So be thinking about it. Slide down the leash a little bit. There you go, good, very good. Easy, wait. Up, 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 good. Now see again, you're having that same problem, the dog wanting to rush. So let's change your reinforcement points to kind of the beginning of the obstacle and maybe go beginning, middle, and end, which will require more dexterity on your part, but it will give the dog a reason to slow down. Think about it like picking up money. If you were going down a trail and you knew that all the money was at the end of the trail, what would you do? You would run to the end. But if you knew that the money was dispersed along the trail, you would really pay a lot of attention while you were traveling, and you'd probably go very slow and be very meticulous. Easy. Up, up, up. Easy on the way down. Up, up, up. Easy. There you go, good. Now see, by giving that reward early in the obstacle, the dog had some incentive not to rush towards the end. Click right here. There we go. Good. And then let's go ahead and throw a click and reward into the middle of that ramp there. There, perfect. Perfect. Now see how her feet came off? Okay, you still, her front feet are on there, so that's pretty good. Let's go back and let's do it again. Let's have our, no, just back to the, now, click and treat and have your treat pre-staged in your hand so the delivery will be seamless. Click, treat. There you go, keep going. Yeah, and you'll get to where you can click, treat, keep walking all the time. Now, this is where we get back to the lesson about empathy. Okay, let's go back to the boat. I forgot about the boat. Okay, now one of the things that we really harp on here is like developing empathy so that you don't project a lot of blame towards your dog when the dog doesn't perform as expected. Okay, I have people out here all the time that are working on obedience training. They watch the videos and they come and they practice and they watch me do it and they still do it wrong. Well, guess what? You're infinitely smarter than a dog. And so if you're going to do it wrong a certain amount of the time, well then the dog's going to do it wrong a certain amount of the time. When you compound the fact that you're going to do it wrong some and the dog also is going to do it wrong some, that equals a lot of things going wrong. And all we need to do is every week just lessen the amount of things that are going wrong. Very nice. But ain't that crazy how you just forgot a whole section of the course? Now, so the next time that you go to thinking about getting mad at your dog for not remembering something perfectly, just keep in mind that you can't remember things perfectly either. Okay? All right, now, stop sign hand, leave your dog there. Tell it to wait there. Wait. And walk away. And then, so, the reason that's important for us, that life skill, is that if I'm at the vet or if the dog's at the groomer's, wait. Something's liable to happen. The vet's liable to have to walk away. Maybe they get a text. Maybe the groomer has another dog that's having a meltdown over something. Okay? So it's super important to get your dog in the habit of pausing before it exits elevated surfaces. Does that make sense? Right? So I got to be able to just like, wait there for a second, you know, and walk away. And then I can transition to a different handler. I can come back, you know, whatever it is. But like these little habits that I'm having you develop, these habits, they didn't become important to me because I'm Einstein and I theorized why they would be important. They're important because I've been in this business a long time and I've known a lot of dogs that jumped off grooming tables and got hurt when this little exercise right here could have prevented that. And then we just transition to the car. We do it getting in and out of the boat, right? Okay, just always we think in terms of being calm, attentive, polite, and waiting to make sure that we know the right thing to do in a given situation. And all that comes from practice. Lots and lots of practice with a positive attitude, keeping your head up, your eyes out, and modeling the behavior you want to see. All right, see you guys next week.